Class is always good for the beginners to get into and some of the guys that may not want to run at the big time.
Absolutely. It's a local class, so a lot of local drivers come to the circuit all the time. They test these cars. They like to engineer them themselves as well and, you know, get the cars going quicker and trying different bits and pieces to get the cars to where they wanted to go. So you'll see a lot of different style of car here, and I'm not really sure which car is the one to beat, really.
No, it was a difficult one. I had a chance to sit up in the stands yesterday and watch the first race. The big thing about this to watch at home is the fact it'll get very busy very quick when you look at some of the margins in qualifying, covering the field by at least 10 seconds front to rear.
Yeah, quite a different category to some of these control categories where, you know, you use a control part in each car, so the racing's very close. This is sort of, you know, do what you can and get the car on track, and that's why we see a big difference in the lap times.
And a whole mixture of cars right back from the 70s, 80s and 90s, even some modern day cars out there in the field. The 68 machine heading out onto the track there right now, taking a spot at the back. That's Maggie Waters in the Ford Escort Mark I version out there, and that's always been a car that you see a lot of young drivers getting into who can't really afford to buy the big time cars early in their careers. So track is different to what we saw for the saloon cars. We just had qualifying where we saw Ford take pole position for the first time since 2013. They'll start on pole position for both races today. Now these guys are going to race on a track that, even though it's been fairly greasy, will have some rubber down for them.
Yeah, their track grip should be improving slightly, but just talking with some of the V8 guys then, the track itself, it was very slippery for them in their session. So if these guys haven't raced since yesterday, they might have a different feel in the car, and it might be just, you know, not quite where they thought it was.
You're looking forward to getting back behind the wheel later this year in the Pertec Enduro Cup?
Absolutely, can't wait. So my sort of season ramps up a little bit now with a few more Friday sessions for V8 supercars and a bit of GT racing. Let's check out the grid.
Yeah, some names in there, a bit of a change in car number one. Kerry Wade jumps in for Kim Ledger, who had to pull out with a sore foot yesterday in qualifying. Matt Cherry, watch for him. He'll be one to keep an eye on in the Valvoline entry out of third position, down to guys like Glenn Mulling and Brad Cuss and Brett Wilkinson, who starts out at 10. You got Dion Panizza, who was very instrumental in saloon car racing back in the day. Further down the field to Neil Pollard and Mark Jewell down there in 20th position. Over the page to Williams and Ellis, and right down to Wayne Crystal in the on-site rental entry, and Les Turpin starting out of 30. A big field here at Barbagallo Raceway, and you can see very, very warm conditions. Hard to think it's May, and we've got temperatures well in the 20s here today. There is your front row. These two went at it stroke for stroke yesterday in race number one. Maggie Waters pulls up on the back of the field here in that race tune performance entry, the Ford Escort. Looking to do it from the back of the field here. Another guy to keep an eye on to be Ash Barnett, who ran inside the top three in yesterday's race one, having to do all the work from the back of the field for this race over 10 laps.
A couple of guys there in the back just giving each other a thumbs up before the race. They're all getting G'd up for a good race ahead. Some
scores to be settled, perhaps. All the garage talk is over. 5-second board is up. Wade and Stevens on the front row for 10 laps around Barbagallo Raceway this Super Saturday here in Perth. Revs are up, and we're away.
Expecting the Evo to get off the line well here.
Faulted a little bit then, didn't he? He gets away, but
it looks like he's got a problem.
So all the good luck I've given Kerry Wade, he sent me a message just before this, has gone out the window. I don't know if he couldn't grab a gear. It did falter a lot, but if he can get that back, he'll drive his way through the field.
Yeah, he's going quite slow at the moment, so I think he's actually broken something off the line there. It looks like he's just trundling back to the pit lane, to be honest.
Oh, what a tragedy. The car that he's jumped in the place of Kim Ledger, former WA Speed Car champion back in the days of the Claremont Speedway, and of course the father of the great late Heath Ledger, who passed away a few years ago. As it's on at the front, and I expected this from Matt Cherry, this strong Monaro. They're racing like it's lap 10.
That's impressive to get down the inside there of Stevens. And he's going to try and sprint off into the distance here, but interesting to see if he can hold on to his tries for 10 laps, because he's spinning the rears up out of the bowl.
We've seen Cherry come to Darwin over the years and run in their local class, supporting the V8's, and absolutely dominate up there. And his father Steve run a performance shop here in Western Australia, MC Motorsports. And now they're spread eagling the field here on lap one. So we head into turn one. So Cherry from Stevens, Cluck and Williams third and fourth back to Parker. And unfortunately for Kerry Wade, dropping down the field. He's back into it, so whatever's gone wrong, he's got himself in a lot of traffic here the 19 of Pollard. And what's he lined up now?
See the drive out of the corner there.
So this will change the race completely. The Ginu Tyres sponsored car. The Evo's always good around any kind of racetrack you put them on. But man, is he going to be busy negotiating the traffic as he goes past the 65 machine of Melling.
I think he'll have a great time coming through the field. It'll be interesting to see what actually went wrong. Some of these guys just sidestepping for him, letting him go.
Well, this will be cool to watch. He's up to 15th. He dropped back to 20th position. This is a replay of the start. Bogged down, didn't he? Got away initially okay, but then something happened a bit further down, so maybe it was a drop gear or the car got a technical term called stage fright. Hard to tell. There's a battle going on here between the 100. Going around here with Adam Williams, this really cool ute. I've seen one of these in the video games getting around recently.
She looks like a bit of a handful, trying to get on the gas on the exit of turn 1 there and lit the rears up and step sideways on him, but a very cool looking car.
Meantime, these two at the front, not getting too far away from the field as both of them give a brake test to make sure they've got plenty of pedal for this drop down into the basin here on lap 3. Oh, it's on. The ute wants to get down the inside. And the door was slammed firmly in the face of him. Does look tight, doesn't it?
Yeah, Williams there really struggling to get the power down. Cherry now is coming under a bit of pressure from Stevens. Not looking quite as racy as what he was to start with.
Gap about 2.5 seconds to 3 seconds. This is a long way back for 5th position of Parker. They start lap 4. So very short laps of seeing the front guys doing 102s and some of the over 2 litre cars down the 107s to 110 range. I do love this ute.
The old Monaro, we saw the 427 and some of the Monaros that raced at Bathurst. I wonder if some of that technology has gone into this car. That was quite a weapon there, those endurance races.
Certainly no shortage in power, that's for sure. As Stevens hangs on here, it's only 0.2 of a second. There's your splits at the bottom of the screen. We approach the half race distance here. So Clark holding back. Williams here as they make the run along this big back straightaway. And as he slowed here, has he got a drama or missed a gear? He's dropped well off.
He got very sideways coming out of the bowl and had a lot of smoke. A bit more smoke down the inside. Looks like he's pinching a front tire. Doesn't look very nice to drive that car at the moment.
No, not at all. So now he's fallen back into the clutches of Parker as he looks down the inside, locks the rears momentarily and slides the car into 1. There's a replay coming out of the basin. And just gets on the pedal nice and early. So plenty of power, but of course that washed off the momentum for the run down the back straight here.
It's always a balance between getting on the power and letting the tail come out a little bit, and then it goes out a little bit too far, and that's what happened then. He had to get back out of the throttle, killed his straight line speed.
So where would you like to be in this situation, the front or the second car?
Definitely position 2 there.
Correct answer. This battle continues on. Williams out there in the 35 machine, the Nissan Skyline, the R33 model. Back to the leaders. And has a look down the inside. It's a long way back for Stevens. Can he pull the car up? Nicely done. He's going to run up on the curbs. That's good enough to hold on position, but Cherry has the run down to 1.
It's interesting, this category. You know, a lot of the cars will have different strengths. So you've got Stevens there can actually brake a lot deeper than Cherry, but then Cherry's got all the power in the world to try and get out on the exit and get back past Stevens. So it's what creates really good racing.
And he'll be nursing the tyres now.
One is in the sand.
Oh dear, the 37 has gone in of Plummer. And that may bring out the safety car because it's right at the point of no return, clearly for him.
Just looking at some of those black marks on the inside there, wonder if he's actually lost it on the way in, or there's been a failure or something like that. A lot of cars do go across there, but they generally make it to the other side and can keep going there if you just go a little bit wide, but maybe there's something wrong with that car.
So stay green at this point. Stevens looked down the inside, then realised there was waved yellows in that sector, no passing. I wonder if they're going to leave that car there for the balance of this race. If it does, it's going to kill a passing opportunity down that part of the world.
I don't think they will. I think they'll bring out the safety car. We've got yellow flags waving.
There it is, as you say it. So the safety car comes out on lap 7, and it'll take a lap or two to pull that car out, but this is good news for the field because it brings everybody back.
Some of those cars at the back were about to get lapped, so they can rejoin the back of the field again and not risk going down a lap.
So make it very clean for Cherry to go right through to the finish as our Lexus safety car comes out on lap 7 here at Barbagallo Raceway.
Depending on how long it takes to get that car out of the sand, Cherry might actually be able to hold on to this win and not come under any pressure from Stevens late in the race.
That's good news for him, bad news for Stevens, because he wanted lap traffic, didn't he?
Mate, I'm a Holden man. I want the Monaro to win.
It's all right if I pick sides in this one. I'm with you. If that's the case, the Valvoline-sponsored car behind our Lexus safety car. You can see some of the back markers now. We'll go around and join the tail of the field. And the 37 car, that is deep, deep sand. There's lots of it here in the west. I don't call them sand gropers for no reason.
I always remember Brad Jones coming down there and rolling the car in that sand. You know, it's very easy to do that. And for some reason, that sticks in my mind every time I come down into that braking zone.
Yeah, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it.
That's exactly right. Very, very committed part of the track.
We have seen an unusual amount of cars go off this weekend and not get stuck in the sand. They've really driven over the top this weekend. There's been a lot of rain in the recent couple of weeks here in Perth, which is unusual for this time of the year, and it hasn't been catching the cars out like we see. Not so on this occasion.
Yeah, a lot of the guys will, you know, if they're under brakes and they grab a tyre, they'll basically get off the brake and try and get their way through. It's only when, you know, they've got a failure, something like that, that they'll try and keep the car stopped in the sand. So, you know, like in a qualifying session, you get stuck in the sand, your day's done.
Exactly.
So you need to try and get through it.
So it should be a lap or so behind it. Hopefully we can get a one-lap sprint into this. The Lexus safety car letting the field catch up right now, and guys like Williams taking this opportunity to keep the heat into the tyres. Even though it's a warm day, the tyre pressures do drop under these sorts of conditions. So it's Cherry from Stevens, Clark, Williams, Parker and Cuss in 6th position. Back to Barnett, who came from the rear of Phil to be inside the top 10.
I was just about to mention that. He's done a great job and quite under the radar. He's just made his way through very easily.
Started to struggle in the initial periods of race 1 yesterday as Maggie Waters cruises on through. A whole range of vehicles have joined us this weekend. The local classes, they really get into it over here in the west. A big chance to race in front of the crowds.
Looks like Kerry Wade's out of the race now. He that problem must have kept persisting, so he's had to go in the pit lane. Yeah,
dropped right out of our order. In fact, there he's in 31st position, and his day is done. I think even if he does come back out now, he's not going to make anything up in the next lap if we get one in, as the car of Plummer has pulled out of the sand down. It gives you an idea of how deep it is down there at turn 6.
They've added a bit of concrete on the edge of the track there to give the guys that little bit of margin. If they do run a little bit wide, they don't have to go through the sand. And you see a lot of guys just gathering it up just before they get to the sand. Previously, you know, as soon as you left the track, you basically bogged. So it's a pretty good little initiative there to put the concrete on the outside.
Certainly no advantage having that concrete there. You can't race there anyway. They have added more concrete to the run out of turn 5, and there is a sensor tripping up the cars this weekend if you run too wide. Because you give them extra foot, they're going to race that foot, aren't they?
You're going to try it. You know, a lot of the guys yesterday and last year when they added a bit of concrete to the exit, they tried it, but you're covering so much more ground that it's no advantage, and you can't get back across onto the track quick enough. So there's no real point, to be honest, I think, having that beacon there, because no one's going to be able to use it. If you're out there, you're having a moment and
sure,
you're losing time.
So still behind our Lexus safety car here. I gets the feeling we might get a one-lap screamer in this.
That'd be good if we can get that one-lap dash and see who can pull off the win.
We'll wait for the lights to go out on top of our Lexus safety car. Plenty of racing to come today. Our 2 60-kilometre V8 supercar races as part of the UBAT Perth Super Sprint. And a great crowd here at Barbagallo Raceway. They get behind their motor racing here in this part of the world. So the checkered flag is coming out. We just heard from race control. So that kills the chance for Stevens to pick up the win in this race. Matt Cherry, though, had his measure for the entire race. Unfortunate for Kerry Wade, who didn't get the greatest of starts and dropped down the order in the car that Kim Ledger normally drives in this part of the world.
I think Stevens actually had the faster car in that race, but Cherry there, he just sort of caught him napping at the start, got in front of him and just held that position. I think it would have become difficult if the race had gone green, just for tyre life, and I think, you know, Cherry would have struggled maybe just at the end, but he made the most of it when it counted, and he's got the win.
These guys will continue racing over the weekend here as the support program, as Cherry comes down the hill, leading the rest of this field as the safety car lights come off. He'll stack the field up and come to the checkered flag here. Unfortunately, with Plummer putting his car in the sand, it's end of their race for us.
Unless he has a problem right now, he's going to take the win.
And here it is, it's a 100-metre dash to the checkered flag, and Matt Cherry will pick up the win here in the Monaro for Valvoline and MC Motorsport. Stevens will get second. Go back to Clark, Williams and Parker in fifth position. These guys tried to make some passes happen in that 100 metres of racing we did have in that race. But well done to Matt Cherry. Bad luck to Kerry Wade, though. I know he had high hopes of winning this race today. Let's take a look at the results here. The improved production and street cars here at Barbagallo Raceway. Matt Cherry, the winner from Stevens. Paul Clark finishes in third, back to Williams. Brad Cuss in fifth. Les Turpin in sixth. Dion Panizza, good job to him, to seventh. Denver Parker in eighth. Ruben Ronka's got to ninth. And Brett Wilkinson rounding out the top 10 in this race. So 1 hour and 33 minutes remaining of the V8 Supercars this afternoon. And big thanks to Tony D'Alberto. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll see you later in the season.
Sure will, thank you.
Improved production cars here as part of the UBET Perth Super Sprint. Plenty more action still to come here at Barbagallo.